What if the deepest pain in parenting is not caused by your child at all? What if the pain is created by one silent sentence in your mind? This child is mine. And what if that single sentence, repeated day after day, turns love into fear, turns care into control, and turns a home into a place of constant tension? Many parents do not suffer because they lack love. They suffer because their love becomes a tight fist. A fist that cannot rest. A fist that cannot trust. A fist that keeps squeezing, hoping life will become safe. If you are a parent, you may recognize this. When your child is happy, your heart rises. When your child struggles, your heart collapses. When your child does not follow your plan, your mind becomes restless. You worry, you argue, you blame yourself, you blame them. You think, why is my child like this? Why is my child not listening? Why is my child not becoming who I want them to be? But the Buddha pointed to something even deeper. The real question is not only what is my child doing? The real question is, what am I clinging to? Welcome, dear friend, to Buddha Peaceful Mind. Today we will listen to a simple, deep Dharma talk inspired by the Buddha's teaching. A talk for parents and for anyone who carries love mixed with worry. A talk about how to love your child fully without turning love into chains. A talk about the difference between love and attachment. In the Dhammapada, there is a verse that has made many hearts become quiet. From attachment arises sorrow. From attachment arises fear. For one who is free from attachment, there is no sorrow, no fear. The Buddha was not telling us to stop loving our children. He was not teaching coldness. He was not teaching distance. He was teaching freedom. He was pointing out a truth we can test in our own life. Love itself does not have to hurt. But when love becomes grasping, pain begins. So we must understand two energies that often look similar on the surface. One is love. Love wishes well-being. Love supports growth. Love does not demand control. Love can hold joy and pain without collapsing. The other is attachment. Attachment says, you must be the way I need you to be. Attachment says, you belong to me. Attachment says, if you change, I will not be safe. Attachment says, your success is my worth. Your failure is my shame. Your choices are my identity. This is why parents suffer. Not because children are bad, not because life is unfair, but because the mind quietly turns a living being into a possession. And in Buddhism, possession always brings fear, because everything changes. Your child changes. Their personality changes. Their friends change. Their dreams change. Their moods change. Even their love for you changes. This is natural. This is life. This is impermanence. But when the mind clings, impermanence feels like a threat. So we tighten, we lecture, we control, we worry, we hover, we chase. And the more we chase, the more we suffer. Let us bring this down into simple, everyday moments. Your child comes home with a low score. You feel a burning inside. You tell yourself it is for their future, but look carefully. Is it also about your fear of being judged? Is it also about your fear of failing as a parent? Is it also about your attachment to an image of the perfect child? Your child becomes quiet and distant. You feel offended. You feel rejected. You say, "After everything I do for you." But look carefully. Is it about love, or is it about the need to be needed? Your child chooses a path you did not plan. You feel panic. You feel anger. You feel like the ground is moving beneath your feet. But look carefully. Is it the path that scares you? Or is it losing control? The Buddha's teaching is not here to accuse parents. It is here to help parents see clearly. Because when we see clearly, we suffer less. And when parents suffer less, children feel safer. Now let us remember a gentle truth. In the Buddha's view, the relationship between parent and child is a meeting of causes and conditions, a meeting of karma and kindness, a meeting of time and opportunity. A child is not an object we own. A child is a living being with their own mind, their own path, their own lessons. Parents are not owners. Parents are caretakers, guardians for a season, teachers for a chapter, a safe home for a part of the journey. When we forget this, love becomes a rope. When we remember this, love becomes light. There is a small story that many people understand immediately. A mother once held a handful of sand at the beach. Her little child ran to her and said, "Keep it, keep it." So the mother squeezed the sand tightly, afraid to lose even one grain. But the tighter she squeezed, the more sand slipped through her fingers. She opened her palm, and the sand rested softly in her hand. This is attachment and love. Attachment is squeezing. Love is opening. The Buddha taught that suffering comes from clinging. Clinging is the tight fist. Clinging is the mind that cannot allow life to move. Now let us look at how clinging shows up in parenting. Clinging shows up as constant worry. Even when nothing is happening, the mind searches for danger. Clinging shows up as comparison. Why is my child not like that child? Clinging shows up as control. I must decide everything. Clinging shows up as emotional ownership. If my child is unhappy, I am a failure. But the Buddha offered another way. He offered the middle way. Not careless, not controlling, not indifferent, not anxious. A way of wise care. Wise care means you do your part fully, and you do not demand the results. You guide, and you accept that your child must walk. There is a beautiful image you already carry in your heart. The parent as a gardener. A gardener waters. A gardener gives sunlight. A gardener protects the young plant from harsh wind. A gardener removes weeds. A gardener cares with patience. But the gardener cannot force a flower to open. The gardener cannot command fruit to appear. If the gardener pulls on the plant in impatience, the plant breaks. So the gardener does what is needed, then waits, then trusts life, then continues caring. This is the Buddha's parenting. Care without control, love without chains, guidance without gripping. Now, some parents hear this and become afraid. They think, if I let go, my child will be lost. If I let go, I will not be responsible. If I let go, I will not protect them. So we must be clear. Letting go does not mean abandoning. Letting go means releasing the illusion of ownership. You can still set boundaries. You can still teach values. You can still protect your child from harm. But you do it without hatred, without panic, without the belief that your child must live your dream. Letting go is not neglect. Letting go is wisdom. The Buddha's compassion always includes wisdom. There is a very old story in Buddhist tradition, told in many forms, that carries this lesson. A woman once lost her child, and her mind collapsed in grief. She ran from house to house, begging for medicine to bring her child back. Someone gently guided her to the Buddha. The Buddha did not dismiss her pain. He did not lecture her with cold words. He gave her a task. He asked her to bring him mustard seeds from a house that had never known death. She went from door to door. Every house gave her kindness, and every house also told her, "We have lost someone too." Slowly, her mind began to see, this pain is not only mine. This loss is part of life. This love is not ownership. Everything we hold will change. When she returned, she was different. The Buddha had not taken away her love. He had taken away the illusion that love can possess life forever. This is a hard teaching, but it is also a liberating teaching. Because when we accept impermanence, we stop wasting our time on control. We use our time for presence. Now we bring this back to daily parenting. Your child is changing. Your child is not fixed. Your child is not a project that you can complete. Your child is a living process. So how do we practice this in real life? How do we move from attachment to love? We begin with awareness. When your mind says, "My child must," pause, breathe, and ask, is this wisdom or is this fear? When your mind says, "My child is my pride," pause and ask, am I turning my child into my identity? When your mind says, "I cannot be okay unless my child is okay," pause and ask, am I making my peace dependent on another person's path? This pause is mindfulness, and mindfulness is the doorway to freedom. Here is a simple practice you can use even in the middle of chaos. When you feel yourself tightening, take 3 slow breaths. On the first breath, feel your feet on the ground. On the second breath, soften your shoulders. On the third breath, remember this sentence: my child is not mine. My child is a life entrusted to me. Then speak from that place. Children can feel attachment. Attachment feels like pressure. Even if the words sound like love, children feel the hidden message. Be what I need, or I will not be okay. And that message is heavy. Now, let us offer a small story of a father and a report card. A father saw his son's marks drop. The father felt heat rise in his chest. He wanted to shout. He wanted to compare the boy to others. He wanted to threaten. But he remembered something. Fear can create obedience, but it destroys trust. So he sat down and said, "Tell me what happened. What was hard? What do you need?" The boy hesitated, then said, "I did not understand, and I was afraid to ask. I felt stupid." In that moment, the father saw the real problem. The problem was not laziness. The problem was fear. So the father said, "You are not stupid. You are learning. We will practice together, and I will help you learn how to ask for help." The boy's shoulders relaxed. Effort returned. What changed here? The father moved from attachment to care. Attachment wanted results and pride. Care wanted understanding and growth. This is Dharma in a living room. Now there is another place where attachment often hides, in the parent's need to be respected. Sometimes parents say, "I just want my child to respect me." But inside, the mind means, "I want my child to obey me so I feel safe." In Buddhism, respect is beautiful, but fear-based obedience is not respect. It is survival. The Buddha taught that true authority comes from virtue, not from intimidation. A parent who is kind, steady, truthful, and fair naturally earns respect. A parent who is unpredictable, harsh, and shaming may get obedience, but loses the child's heart. So the practice is not to demand respect. The practice is to live in a way that deserves trust. Now, let us speak about the parent's suffering in a more honest way. Sometimes we say we worry for our child, but part of the worry is about ourselves. We worry that people will blame us. We worry that we will look like a bad parent. We worry that we will lose face. We worry that our sacrifices will feel meaningless. This is very human. The Buddha did not judge this. He simply pointed out that the self is always trying to build security. But security built on control will break, because life cannot be controlled. So the Buddha offered another security, the security of a trained heart. When your heart is trained, you can love without panic. You can guide without gripping. You can face your child's choices without losing yourself. This is why Buddhism emphasizes inner practice, because outer life is uncertain. Now here is one of the most beautiful shifts you can make as a parent. Change the word "my" into the word "this." Instead of "my child must succeed," say, "This child is learning." Instead of "my child is embarrassing me," say, "This child is struggling." Instead of "my child is disobedient," say, "This child is seeking independence." This small shift changes your mind. It moves you from ownership to observation, from ego to compassion. You still guide, but you guide with more space. Now, let us bring in the image you offered, love like the sun. The sun shines, it warms, it helps life grow. But it does not grab the flowers. It does not demand the leaves stay the same. It does not say, "Bloom for me." The sun gives, and it lets life unfold. This is the Buddha's love, boundless goodwill, a heart that wishes well-being without possession. If you want to practice this love, you can practice a short loving kindness prayer for your child. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be wise. May you be free from fear. May you find your path. May you learn from your life. Notice what is missing here. There is no demand. There is no control. There is no image of perfection. There is only blessing. Now, parents often ask, "But what if my child chooses a harmful path? What if my child is addicted? What if my child is dishonest? What if my child is lost?" This is where wisdom is needed. The Buddha did not teach passivity. He taught skillful action. You can intervene. You can set limits. You can seek help. You can protect. You can say no. You can create consequences. But you do it with a mind that is not poisoned by hatred. You do it with a mind that is not shaking with panic. You do it with a mind that remembers. This is a human being, not my property. This is a human being, not my trophy. This is a human being worthy of dignity, even when confused. This approach is powerful because shame rarely heals addiction. Humiliation rarely heals rebellion. Fear rarely heals a wounded heart. But steady love with clear boundaries can create conditions for change. Here is a small story of boundaries without chains. A mother discovered her teenage daughter had been lying about where she went. The mother felt betrayed. Her first impulse was to shout and punish. But she paused. She remembered that harshness can push a child further into secrecy. So she said, "I love you, and this is not okay." Trust is important. For the next month, we will rebuild trust step by step. You will share your plans. You will come home on time. And we will talk every night for 10 minutes. The daughter resisted at first, but she also felt something new. The mother was firm without cruelty. The mother was strong without hatred. The mother was not trying to control her identity. The mother was protecting the relationship. This is a middle way boundary. Now, let us look at the deeper root again. Why do parents cling? Because parents fear pain. They fear loss. They fear mistakes. They fear judgment. They fear helplessness. So the mind creates an illusion. If I control, I will be safe. But the Buddha teaches the opposite. When you accept that you cannot control everything, your heart becomes calmer. When you let go of ownership, you suffer less. When you stop squeezing, you can actually hold your child with gentleness. This is not a theory. You can test it this week. The next time your child disappoints you, notice the story in your mind. They should be different. I should have done better. This should not be happening. People will judge me, then pause and return to the truth. This child is a living being with their own causes and conditions. I will guide them, but I will not possess them. I will love them, but I will not chain them. I will be present, but I will not panic. Then speak from that place. Now, if you feel this teaching is hard, you are not alone. Many parents carry guilt when they hear about letting go. They think, I am too attached, so I am a bad parent. But the Buddha did not teach self-hatred. He taught self-compassion and training. Attachment is not a moral failure. Attachment is a habit of the mind, and habits can be trained. So be gentle with yourself. You can learn, you can change, you can soften. Here is a short practice of self-compassion for parents. Place a hand on your chest and say, "This is a hard moment." Many parents feel this. May I be kind to myself. May I respond with wisdom. When you become kind to yourself, you become kinder to your child. Because harsh inner talk becomes harsh outer talk. Now let us speak about pride. Because pride is another form of attachment. When a child succeeds, parents may say, "My child is amazing." And inside they feel, "I am amazing." When a child fails, parents may feel shame, and inside they feel, "I am a failure." The Buddha taught that this is suffering created by identity. It is the self trying to own outcomes. But your child's life is not your identity. Your child's life is their life. So celebrate your child without using them to build your ego. Support your child without using them to carry your shame. This is a more pure love. Now let us offer a simple metaphor to remember. Imagine holding a small bird in your hand. If you squeeze, you harm it. If you open too wide and throw it, you abandon it. But if you hold gently, with care and space, the bird is safe, and it can breathe. Parenting is like holding the bird. Hold gently, not tight, not careless, gentle. This is the middle way. If this talk is helping you breathe more freely, you can support Buddha Peaceful Mind with a simple like. It helps these calm teachings reach more parents who quietly struggle. Now let us look at the moment when parents must release the hand. Children grow. They leave the nest. They become adults. They make choices. Some choices will make you proud. Some choices will break your heart. At this stage, attachment becomes especially painful because control becomes impossible. So the Buddha's teaching becomes even more important. Your job is not to control. Your job is to love wisely. A wise parent becomes a lighthouse, not a chain, not a cage. A lighthouse does not pull the boat. A lighthouse does not chase the boat. A lighthouse stands steady. It offers light, and it trusts the ocean. So as your child grows, become a lighthouse. Be steady. Be kind. Be honest. Be available. And let them sail. This is not loss. This is love becoming mature. Now we come to a quiet conclusion, the sentence that frees the heart. My child is not mine. This sentence is not cold. It is compassionate, because it releases pressure from the child and it releases suffering from the parent. When you understand this, your love becomes lighter. Your presence becomes warmer. Your guidance becomes clearer. Your home becomes calmer. You can still care deeply. You can still protect. You can still teach. But you no longer chain your peace to their performance. And your child can breathe because they are no longer carrying the weight of your identity. Let us end with a simple blessing. May you love your child with a free heart. May you guide with wisdom. May you protect without control. May you set boundaries without cruelty. May you be a safe home, not a prison. May your child grow in their own time. May you find peace in the changing seasons of family life. May your love be like the sun, warm, bright, and free. If you would like more peaceful Dharma talks for daily life, you are welcome to subscribe to Buddha Peaceful Mind. And if you know a parent who needs these words, you may gently share this video with them. Thank you for listening. May you be well. May you be peaceful. May your heart be free.